friends, it's April, it's August, and you know what that means? Everyone is thinking about back to school time. I've gathered a bunch of my favorite back to school books, particularly for students kindergarten through second grade, that you can read with your child or your students in the classroom that will get them started on the right foot. If you are new here, hi, my name is April. I'm a teacher and tutor at Teach Young Minds. And if topics such as this one interest you, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, so that you can catch videos in the future. Okay, so let's get to it. Books are a great conversation starter. You can talk about anything and get questions going and thoughts going with books, right? Particularly getting back to school books are a great way to do that. So the first one I have is The Kissing Hand. The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. And this book is for students that are really scared and nervous, that don't want to leave, the comforts of their home for the start of school. And this is particularly good for students that have never been to school, so maybe preschool or kindergarten. And it just talks about this raccoon named Chester who doesn't want to go to school and just wants to stay home. And this is Raccoon, the mom. One of my favorite lines of the book it says, "Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do," she told them gently, "even if they seem strange and scary at first, but you will love school once you start." And so she talks about all the fun things that are going to happen in school. And then she talks about the kissing hand. And the kissing hand is what Chester can remember if he feels lonely at school. So the mom kisses his hand, able to remember that throughout school day. It's a super cute book, so if your child is really anxious about leaving your side and going to a new school, a new classroom, this is a great book for them. The next book that I want to talk about is called The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spears. And this is great for growth mindset. This talks about a young girl that loves making different things. And one day she comes up with an idea to make the most magnificent thing. She gets everything ready and she realizes her first try is awful. It's not magnificent at all. So she keeps trying, and all these different things that she makes is not magnificent, she's realizing. And she's trying and trying, and she gets so frustrated that at one point she hurts herself and takes a break. And first she wants to give up, but she takes a break, takes her dog for a walk, and comes back to it and starts realizing all the special, unique things about her mistakes, right? And so this encourages the students to not be afraid of making mistakes, that mistakes are part of learning. The next one is called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And this is by Carol McLeod. And this one is really great on empathy. You know how I feel about empathy. I think it is a #1 factor in solving so many problems that we have today. And so this book kind of gives a concrete example for those young kiddos that need a more concrete example for it. So they talk about a bucket and how its purpose is to hold good thoughts and feelings. And you're happy if the bucket is full, but sad if the bucket is lonely. And you can fill your bucket, and you can fill other people's buckets by doing good things, or you can dip into other people's buckets by doing things that are not so nice and hurtful. And so it just gives a good idea for students to be thoughtful of the things that they do and they say, and gives them really good examples of what they can do to make others feel good and cared and loved for. So this is a really great book. Have you filled a bucket today? I wouldn't be surprised if your if your child's teacher, multiple teachers have used this, that I use this in my classroom for a number of years. It's a great book. This book is called One by Catherine Otoshi. It's one of my favorites. I've talked about this book a couple times, and it's another book on empathy. This one in particular when it comes to dealing with standing up for our friends. So it talks about the color blue and how, you know, he's super happy and has a lot of friends, loves himself until he meets up with red, who is a hothead, and makes him feel really bad about himself. And all the other colors are too scared to stand up to red because he just gets really, really mad. And so they don't say anything. And until One came, and One starts standing up to red, and they start realizing, the colors start realizing that they can stand up to them too. And I love the last line of the page, or the last line of the story. Sometimes it just takes one. So it talks about how all we need is that one person to be brave enough to stand up to people who are doing the wrong thing. The next one is The Day the Crayons Quit. And this book is a really pretty entertaining book. It talks about the boy who just wanted to use his crayons, but he comes to his crayon box and doesn't find crayons. He finds just all these letters and they're from each of the crayons talking about how they quit coloring for him, whether they're being used too much, they're not being used enough, or they're not being used right. And it's really funny, and it's kind of a great segue into talking about how we take care of our materials, how we take care of our tools, and the things that we bring to school. And it's great conversation for, you know, where do we put our pencils and crayons and color markers and things like that to keep them safe, right? So this is a great book for that. And the last book that I have for you guys today is called 3 Cheers for Tacky. And this book it just celebrates being unique. So this talks about a penguin who goes to school. He is really unique from the others. And one day he decides to sign up for a contest, and he doesn't do because he's so unique, it's really hard for him to be uniform, to follow. And so he does his very best to follow and to be just like the other penguins. And when the contest comes up, there are all these different teams that perform, and the judges are super bored because they are all the same. They're all doing the same thing. And then here comes Tacky and his group, and Tacky, being completely himself, ends up kind of making their own different routine, and wowing the judges because the routine was so unique. So it just encourages students to be themselves, to not conform, and to celebrate their own uniqueness. So that's it, you guys. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Like I said, if you like this video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe. Comment down below if there's any books that you read to your child that helps them through the school year, the beginning of the school year. I'd love to hear about it. I hope you guys have a great school year. Kids, I hope you make a ton of mistakes, because mistakes are part of learning. They help you grow. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I hope you guys have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.